Hello, I am Lady Montague, Romeo's mother, and I will be leading you through the final act of William Shakespeare's play Romeo and Juliet. Before we begin Act 5, let us first review what happened in Act 4. So remember, Juliet was set to marry Paris on Wednesday, but of course we know that she is already married to my son, Romeo. So she went to the friar for help. The friar gave her a little potion bottle. The potion made her appear dead. Now that she appears to be dead, the family is planning to bury her in the Capulet monument. And the friar, remember, was sending a letter to Romeo to tell him of the plan so that Romeo can go and rescue his beloved Juliet. At the start of Act 5, we are in Mantua, where my sweet dear boy Romeo has been banished and sent to live. What you are going to see here is you are going to see Romeo musing on a dream that he had, and you'll see his servant Balthazar come to deliver him a message. Please pay close attention to what that message is. I would like you to go ahead, pause me now, begin reading Act 5, Scene 1, all the way to line 35. So here Romeo is talking about a dream that he had. In his dream, on line 6, he says, "I dreamt my lady came and found me dead." Here again we have another instance of foreshadowing. When Balthazar, Romeo's servant, enters, he does indeed bring him the news that his beloved Juliet is dead. On line 18, he tells Romeo her body sleeps in Capulet's monument. So he is telling Romeo that Juliet has been buried in the monument. Romeo decides that he is going to go to Verona to see his Juliet. On line 26, he proclaims to Balthazar, "I will hence tonight." Balthazar tries to get Romeo to have patience. On line 27, he says, "Have patience. Your looks are pale and wild, and do import some misadventure." So Balthazar is worried about what Romeo plans to do. As we will soon find out, he should be. Romeo brushes Balthazar off and says, "Hast thou no letters to me from the friar?" Balthazar does not have a letter from the friar. So it is clear here that Romeo has not yet gotten the friar's letter. Balthazar made it to Romeo before the friar's messenger. So you can imagine that this is going to lead to a little bit of plot thickening. What you are going to see in this next section is how Romeo plans to cope with and deal with Juliet's death. Please pay close attention to what he plans to do. I would like you to please pause me now and read to the end of Scene 1. Once Romeo sends Balthazar away, he says to us, the audience, "Well, Juliet," on line 36, "I will lie with thee tonight." So that is a clear indication that he plans to kill himself. Now, the way in which he intends to do so is by going to an apothecary. On line 39, he says, "I do remember an apothecary," and an apothecary would be like a pharmacist. So he continues talking about this apothecary, and he reveals that this apothecary is very poor, and he lives in very squalid conditions, and Romeo believes that he will be able to buy some poison from this apothecary, despite the fact that it is illegal to sell poison in Mantua. So Romeo plans to use his massive amounts of wealth to convince the poor apothecary to sell him poison that he will use to kill himself. So Romeo goes to the apothecary at the end of this scene and asks the apothecary if he has such a poison that would kill a man. The apothecary tells us that he does. Romeo calls him poor and offers him quite a large sum of money to sell him some of these illegal drugs. The apothecary says on line 78, "My poverty, but not my will consents." So he's saying, I will do it, but only because I am poor and I need food, not because I believe it is the right thing to do. So Romeo has this poison And the very last line of the scene he says, "To Juliet's grave, for there must I use thee." So that is a clear indication that he plans to take the poison at Juliet's grave to kill himself. Now in scene 2 of the play, we are back at Friar Lawrence's cell, and you are going to see another friar enter the scene. His name is Friar John. Now Friar Lawrence sent the letter with Friar John for Friar John to deliver to Romeo, telling him of the plan. So we are going to now see what happened to Friar John and whether or not he was able to deliver the letter. Since scene 2 is very short, I would like you to please pause me now and read all of scene 2. So here in this scene, Friar Lawrence asks Friar John when he enters, "What says Romeo? Or if his mind be writ, give me his letter." So he's saying, what did Romeo say, or did he write me a letter? Then Friar John launches into this long explanation and this long tale of what happened to him, and he encountered quite a bit of misadventure. He went to go seek out one of the other brothers and found him in a house helping the sick. Well, the locals thought that it may be the bubonic plague that was in the house, so Friar John was quarantined and was not allowed to leave the house, nor send his letter, because everybody was afraid of catching the bubonic plague by touching any of the items that were in the household. So Friar John was unable to get the letter to Romeo, and we know that Balthazar has already told Romeo that Juliet is dead, even though we know that she's really not dead yet. Friar Lawrence, of course, realizes that this has been a horrible mistake, and he immediately goes to try to rectify the situation. He reveals to us on line 25, "Within this 3 hours will fair Juliet wake." So he is saying that Juliet will wake up, the potion will wear off in the next 3 hours. So Friar John wants to make sure that he's there when she wakes up, and then Friar Lawrence plans, on line 28, to write again to Mantua and keep her at my cell till Romeo come. So he plans to keep Juliet with him until Romeo can come and fetch her from Mantua. This is where we will leave off for today. Please make sure to complete your study guide before tomorrow. I bid you a good day.